You always kind of thought they were going to end, and they never did.
Yes. Well, Boyhood never really did end. It just stopped.
Petered out.
It just went to black.
Right. To peter out refers to something that has a certain amount of force or momentum going for it, but then it just dies off, usually fairly slowly, and doesn't continue. The original idea of peter out seems to come from gunpowder or fuses, where peter is another name for gunpowder. Peter comes from rock. So if a fuse sizzles out or peters out, it means you light the fuse and then the fuse doesn't continue. So if it's a gun, the gun doesn't fire. Or if it's a cannon, the cannon doesn't fire. Or if it's a bomb, it doesn't blow up. And this idea came to be associated with mining, where the miners were digging in rocks, and then sometimes there'd be a pretty decent amount of the ore that they were looking for, whether it was gold or silver or some other mineral, and then it would just run out, and they'd keep digging and digging, and they wouldn't get any more. So this concept, again, got carried over into a modern usage to talk about something that slowly diminishes and then fails. For example, a friendship, where people are friends for a while and they're calling each other up regularly, and then they maybe call each other up once a year, every 2 years, and then they just stop calling. So in this sense, the relationship peters out. Or there could be an opportunity of some type. If you look at the past, you'll often see that things that people did in the past, they are no longer successful anymore. So in this sense, the business itself can peter out because of new technology and new ways of doing business. The energy just becomes lost. And this is also true in the modern world for old languages. For example, Welsh is a language which used to be very popular, but it's not that popular anymore, and there's not that many modern speakers of the language. Or in Ireland, there's Gaelic, which they're doing everything they can to keep alive, but there's fewer and fewer speakers, and not many people are learning Gaelic as their native language anymore. And the same goes for Spain. They have several native languages. French, same thing. Italian. Wherever you go in the world, you'll have different dialects that people speak. And what they will tend to do is stop speaking many of the older dialects, and they'll start speaking more of the new dialects to the point where the old dialects just die out. After work, I went to the gym and spent a couple hours running and lifting weights. So now I'm all petered out. I'm too tired to do just about anything except sit down in front of the TV and drink a beer. On television, a lot of shows can be very, very popular for quite a period of time, but eventually almost every show loses its popularity and then finally peters out and gets canceled. And then oftentimes people can even visualize the moment when the TV show starts to lose its popularity, and the expression they use now is called jump the shark. And that's when the writers run out of ideas and they have to resort to crazy stunts in order to keep the popularity going. Petered out can also mean to be very tired.
I don't like the grand, the Tenenbaum, Royal Tenenbaums, and the Darjeeling Limited.
Might not be your movie, then.
What I don't like is the artsy-fartsy jack-off films.
You're going to hate this, then.
Artsy-fartsy refers to a sense of artisticness which seems somewhat self-indulgent, and where the people themselves are viewed as being somewhat pretentious or thinking very highly of themselves for something that doesn't quite deserve the level of praise and admiration that they may think it deserves. This is often the case with new trends of art which aren't accepted, or it can also be with other trends where they seem more self-important than real. For example, they might have a painting where it's just a white canvas and they try to tell you how great it is and all the wonderful ideas that it contains. But at the same time, you just look at it and you just say, well, it's just a white canvas. There's nothing there. I'm not that impressed. It may be artsy-fartsy, but I don't consider it to be that. I don't consider it to have that much merit. Particularly in filmmaking, a lot of people will consider directors to be self-indulgent on things that they may like, but that the public may not like. And they even have films that are oriented this way. So these films are called artsy-fartsy films, and they may appeal to a very narrow group of people, but they don't appeal to the general public. Andy Warhol's films were considered to be very artsy-fartsy. He had one film where he showed a building with its lights turning on and turning off, which was supposed to be very fascinating. Or he had another film where somebody was sleeping, which again was supposed to be very fascinating, but most people just found those movies to be pretty boring. And also artsy-fartsy could just be used as a general put-down for things that are artistic in general. So some people might consider any type of art gallery opening to be artsy-fartsy as a way of putting down the type of people who might want to go to art gallery openings. Or somebody might go to a party where most of the people at the party are going to be art-oriented people. So this person might say, I'm going to an artsy-fartsy party. So I have to be on my best behavior and try to act as intellectual as I can. ESL-fullsteamahead.com